Oops. Hello, everyone. Happy Wellness Wednesday. I hope everyone is doing great as we wrap up the summer here. I know I'm having a laid back week as I catch up from being at the All Black National Convention this past weekend, just connecting with all the wonderful people that I met. And if you're new here to the wonderful world of Beyond the Busyness, which is a financial wellness company, I'm Mia James. I'm your financial wellness coach, and I specialize in tax free retirement. And, I realize that a lot of people don't know what I do. So, um, I would like to tell you in a nutshell one thing I do is specialize in helping people get away from taxes, fees, and risk with their retirement. And I also help you protect and grow your wealth. So that is definitely something that I do. And I want to welcome you in today. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Queen. Hey. So I'm always happy to see you, sis. And I'm always happy to have everyone on. So hopefully more people will be joining us here in the chat real soon. And how you doing today, Natasha? How's life treating you? So if you are catching a replay, which I know many of you will be doing, this is a place of a safe place, space. Y'all, my husband gave me wine with our dinner. I was like, that's not a good idea. So anyway, where's my remote for my air conditioner? There we go. So if you are new here, I want you to introduce yourselves to us in the chat. I know that. Oh, thank you for sharing the video, Natasha. I appreciate it. So if you're new here, I want to welcome you. I'm Mia James if you haven't met me before. And if you text I'm in to 855-718-2018, you can get reminders the day before and the day of. And you can also subscribe and do alerts so that way you don't miss a beat. So if you're new, we are reading Dr. Boyce Watkins' book, 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And we are finishing up chapter 6 today. So we're on page 125. It's fairly short. So definitely keep the chat coming. Let's see. So Natasha says, I'm doing good, Natasha. I cannot complain, girl. I'm happy. I had a great dinner, hubby cooked, so I'm ready for tonight. All right, my love. So let's jump in page 125. And this starts at the very top of the page with Dr. Boyce talking about who taught geese how to run in packs. So this is so cute because he talks about how, he really loves and appreciates his wife. Anybody who listened to him knows how much he loves and appreciates Dr. Alicia. And she is so dope. Okay. First of all, I love Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia. I had a chance to meet them in person. And they're the most genuine, down to earth, amazing, warm hearted people ever. Like, just 10 out of 10 recommend being in their world in some type of way. So basically he talked about how like his wife had helped him to basically level up. Like he always talks about how, this is what he says, I'm not saying this, he always talks about on Monday in the morning how he used to be fat, and then he met his wife or reconnected with his wife, and she's inspired him to run, right? Because his wife is a marathon runner. And then also, she stimulates him intellectually, because she's a PhD, she's a full professor. And he talks about how basically his wife saved his life because she helps him to level up. That's what his wives do. Although my husband leveled me up with this good Caribbean cooking. Yes, Natasha, it was so exciting when I met them. I mean, I was just like, OMG, you guys are great. So then he goes on page 126. He says, a man can curse himself by always being able to do whatever he wants to do with no responsibility. So he talks about how before he met his wife and got married, he was just doing whatever he wanted to do, which, he was eating Twizzlers, he says, and just going willy-nilly, not in the gym or whatever. But sometimes when you're around the right people, it causes you to level up. And so, I'm thankful for people like Natasha and Jen and Leilani and Chelsea and Deborah, people in our community who just always, constantly are so positive and affirming And I got a chance to meet Anita this weekend too, and just so loving and gracious. And it really does make you want to be a better person by being around sisters like that. And so, let me know in the chat who in your life or what groups in your life or maybe family members have prompted you to level up in your life, maybe encouraged you to um, be, I hate to say be all that you can be. It's the wine, y'all. It's the wine. Yes, I love our sisterhood too, Natasha. And thank you for always being here. It really warms my heart because I love the discussion. I love the back and forth where we can come together and dialogue and talk about solutions. And then he says, in fact, when you see rappers die from drug overdoses at the age of 45, this is a result of gluttonous and undisciplined behavior. And so, to Dr. Boyce's point, there's a lot of things going on in our culture that don't necessarily inspire us to be the best we can be. It might be trendy, right? Hey, Virginia. Yes, sisterhood is amazing. So happy you're here. And if you are here and you're not in the chat, say hello. Let me know where you're joining from if it's safe to do so. And in order to join the chat, which I love, I live for the chat. You all know this. You have to either be in the YouTube app on your phone or on YouTube on a computer device, and you can right underneath the video just see live chat. So I hope that you can join because I love the chat. This is why it's a book discussion, right? Not just me having a monologue. That's not fun. All right. So so I'm on the top of page 26 and he's talking about gluttonous and undisciplined behavior. And so when we're not around people who are affirming us and actually being a mirror and causing us to level up to be the best person that we can be, then we can tend to have behaviors that don't serve us, right? So I know for myself, I had gotten around a little gluttonous behavior myself because, when I used to live in Houston, I had my own car. So I was a yoga instructor. I was basically, I would say I worked out anywhere from 5 to 7 days a week, right? And I moved here and it's extremely difficult to go places. It's just not, things are just not accessible where I live. And I mean, I guess that could be an excuse, right? Because it takes an hour to go one place, an hour to get there. Then you have to do whatever workout you're going to do, then an hour to come back. I just really don't have 3 hours. Like, it's just not practical. So I've actually invested in some workout equipment at home because I realized that I had gotten out of my routine, y'all. And guess what? That resulted in a lot of extra weight. And I was like, this is not me. I was like, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole, but basically, as a yoga instructor, I was used to appearing in a certain way. And then I became a little juicy and I was like, and I couldn't fit my clothes. And I was like, no, this behavior is not good. And my husband is very disciplined about going to the gym. And so, but he goes to the gym at an ungodly hour of the morning, and I'm not going to do that. I will work out. I love it, but I'm not doing that at an ungodly hour. I don't love it that much. So anyway, yeah, Natasha, I have become juicy. I'm juicy now. If you knew me before, you would understand what I mean. You only knew me on my juicy stage. Yes, girl, real juicy. I mean, I don't even know who juicy is. So back to the book. So we're on page 126, second paragraph. He said, in other words, being famous means that the world offers you whatever you want, but it's not always healthy to accept the offer. And I think this is a valuable lesson for us as we, create solutions for our communities around economic elevation, right? Because we see, like, they have these get rich quick schemes, and we see all these, get money fast, right? And I've had clients ask me, like, how do I make this money grow faster? And I'm like, it takes time to grow money. There's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. Like, it's a scheme. That's why they call it a scheme. So, when we're thinking about what opportunities we have in front of us, we also want to consider Is this healthy to accept this offer? It may look good, but it may not necessarily be good. Hey, Marilyn, welcome. Yay. Oh, it's Denise. Okay. Hey, Denise. I'm so happy that you made it. Yes, exactly, Natasha. Wealth is a journey and not a sprint. Absolutely. Yes, Denise. Stay in the chat. We're on page. We're reading Commandment 6. We're finishing up Commandment 6. Keep it all in the family whenever possible. And if you're on Dr. Boyce's email list, he actually sent out a list of Black businesses that you can support. He emailed that out tonight. And if you need that, you can, you all know how to reach me. If you would like me to forward it to you, I'm happy to do that as well if you did not get it. Yes, I'm so glad to have you on, Denise. Welcome to the family. So then he goes on. So on page 127, he says, this is at the bottom of the first paragraph. He's talking about like, why do geese form packs, right? That's the whole premise of this section. And he talks about how they just do it naturally, right? And he was saying, Dr. Boyce thinks deeply about things, because he was saying, well, I know I could take one geese out, take them, like take them, kill them, I guess, But then he was like, but if I tried to take them all out, they will all gang up on me. He was like, I know that I wouldn't be successful. And he said, nobody has to tell animals to, basically gather in herds and packs. He was like, but what if we just did the same thing, as Black people? He said they just naturally come together because they instinctually understand that they are stronger together than they are apart. And so we talked about this, that African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go along. If you want to go farther, go together. And so that's so crucial, that I know every one of us here, we already think like that. We're already thinking like, how can we do this together, right? So I'm thinking everyone here is a business owner for the most part. Think about how can you collaborate with other Black-owned businesses, right, to further both of your missions. So, for example, at the All Black National Convention this weekend, Jen is at a meeting right now. See, I know I'm just putting all her business out here, but Jen and I, we actually shared a table. Most vendors, they were just, they had their own thing, but I knew that she was a new business owner, and I know how it may feel intimidating when you're doing a vending event for the very first time in such a large space, right? So I said, girl, hey, Levon, welcome. I said, girl, you could come and be at my table. And, she did a phenomenal job. And that's what it takes. Like Dr. Boyce says, when we are together in groups, we are stronger. I was like, I love your business. I want your business to be promoted. Be at my table. Don't worry about getting that table. We can do it together. And that's what it's about. And Natasha says, nature teaches us a lot about unity if we pay attention. It absolutely does, right? Like the animals, they're just naturally doing it instinctively. As women, we are communal beings, right? And I don't know if there's any guys here tonight, because you all are welcomed as female allies. But we love gathering together. Like if you notice, everyone as women, we love doing those meetups, right? Like if we want to go get tea together, coffee, or the spa dates, right? Yes, exactly, Natasha. Sisters supporting one another. And so, think about this as an action step. If you are a business owner, who is another business owner where you all could work hand in hand and go farther together? Right. So, it was an honor to be partnered up with Jen in her business. And actually, ever since I got back, I have been reaching out and connecting with people in the conference app still. People are like, oh, I didn't get to meet you. Can we connect? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Because if we each one, well, they say each one teach one, but if we can help just one more person, I mean, who knows how your business can explode or how that person's life can be transformed. Exactly, Levon. It is such an important time for us to come together. Because, oh my gosh, I was listening to something. I'm trying not to get too far off track. because I know we got book club in a few minutes. And oh, my husband was listening to this lady on Facebook, y'all. And I'm not going to tell you verbatim. But essentially, this lady was saying she was a Black woman. She said she had a white male roommate. And she said that his cousin worked for some intelligence agency. I'm thinking like maybe the CIA or something. Anyway, the gist of the video was that she was just like, her roommate is trying to leave. The cousin that worked for intelligence is trying to get out of here. And basically, one of the things that she said that was mentioned was that it may be hard for women in this country. Because if you notice, like back in April, when all the Black women got laid off from the DEI initiatives, I think it was over 300,000 Black women. And think about it, it's a lot of single Black female single households. So just imagine how that disrupted those families by that mother being laid off. Right. And, who knows how easy it is for that mother to find another job. And we talked about that at the conference this weekend, too. So as women, it is important for us to come together. It is important for us to have our own businesses where we can hire one another. We don't only have to obviously hire other women, but, if who knows what is coming down the pike. So we definitely want to be prepared to support one another in any way that we can. And so back on page 127, he says, we just have to commit to naturally doing what God taught us to do in the first place, which is coming together. And so that's the thing. So now is the time. So again, my call to action for everyone here is, if you are a business owner, who can you support and get alongside, maybe collaborate and grow together? And then the second thing is, if you're not a business owner, who is a business owner that you can support? Let me tell you, as a business owner, one of the biggest honors, I'll tell you two of the biggest honors I receive as a business owner. One is a referral, especially from people that are not my clients. When I get referrals, like I've had multiple referrals from people that are not my client. I'm like, well, I'm glad I made a great impression on you. You're not even my client. And the second thing is, if you share like social media posts or share my newsletter or anything like that, and just get the word out, because you know a ton of people that I don't know, and that doesn't cost any money. And people won't even do that. And I'm like, now come on now. And so LaVon hit the nail on the head. See, LaVon said we can become affiliates. And that's true, because I'm an affiliate of the Black Business School. I'm an affiliate of Myron Golden. I put my money where my mouth is. I drive across town to a Black-owned nail salon, okay? And hair salon. Yes, I do. And I love it over there because they treat me like family. I told y'all about that last week. It's amazing. So 10 out of 10 recommend. And that's what we want people to do to our businesses, is 10 out of 10 recommend our business. Because some people say they're buying us as a business owner. I mean, they're buying the results, but they're also buying us, because people only do business with those they know, like, and trust, right? Or they feel like your product or service is going to get them the result that they want. So yes, absolutely, Natasha. Sharing is caring. So I appreciate you sharing all the time. Like, seriously, like, it means a lot. Because that's your time, right? And that's also, have y'all ever, let me know in the chat, have y'all ever recommended somebody to somebody else and that person didn't do a good job? Don't you feel some type of way? I know I do. Like, I feel like that's my reputation on the line. I'm like, I went out on a limb and I recommended you, and you didn't even do right by my people that I sent you. Like, what you doing out here in these streets? I don't like that. So if I recommend you, that means that I trust you enough to say, hey, you're going to take good care of my people. And I know that you're going to do a great job. Yes, exactly, LaVon. Yes. Share alike, share her products, pool resources. Exactly. That is the formula right there. Look, LaVon didn't gave y'all the call to action. We through, really, like, cause LaVon has given us the call to action. It, like, sharing, like reposting, It takes you less than 30 seconds, right? And so it goes a long way. It goes a long way. Oh, and shout out to Levon. Let me tell y'all about Levon. If you are going to be publishing, Levon is the person to go to. Self-publishing. She helped me get my book out to market. If it wasn't for Levon, y'all would not be reading Think, Learn, and Feel Rich. So shout out to Levon. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Everything you need. I learned this at a networking experience. He said, the man held up his phone. He goes, everything you need is in this phone. And what he meant by that is, you know somebody that knows somebody that can get you to where you're trying to go. You just got to be about that life, if you know what I mean, you know? So go, go seek it out. Yes, I know, Natasha, we didn't been there, done that. Yeah. And so we have to give honor to whom honor is due. So on page 127, he says, please close the window when the air conditioner is on. So anybody else had that experience? Like, you had the door open a smidgen too long and your mama is like, close the door, close the window. You letting all the good air out. I know I have been there. We only had an air conditioner in my parents' room growing up. I'm from LA. So we would just open up the windows and we got a nice ocean breeze. But sometimes, that LA heat, the heat be heating. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be like 100, like back in the day when I was growing up. And we would all just have to be in my parents' room watching that one TV. With the kids, me and my sister would be on the floor. You know what I'm saying, Natasha? Thank you, Natasha, because I was like, yeah. So whenever we would all be gathered in my parents' room, we had to close the door. And if you walked out and you forgot to close the door, your parents are like, don't let all that good air out. And so Dr. Boyce's point, we're on page 128 now. We're going to wrap up here. He said if you keep the window closed, he's talking about letting the air out, like if the windows are open. He said if you keep the window closed by making sure that money stays in your family or in your community, you're going to waste a lot less than if you spend your money irresponsibly. Because have y'all heard this, that the dollar only circulates in the Black community for 7 seconds, not even minutes, y'all. 7. Come on, let's talk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dollar gone. What? That's ridiculous. And I know it takes some extra effort, right? Because it's not like you can go, well, I don't know. Everyone here lives in different places. I know we got coast to coast covered here. Actually, nope. I think all of us on that I know of, we're all East Coasters. But basically, I don't know of any Black-owned grocery store. Actually, no, that's not true. I live in a Caribbean neighborhood. My grocery stores are Black-owned. What? Ooh, that's sick. It probably went down, Natasha, because I heard that stat like last year. So I'm not surprised if it went down. I'm really not. So exactly, Denise. It does hurt everyone, because even for myself, okay. Y'all know this is a transparent forum. I'm a transparent person. I've had people, like when I was doing coaching. I don't necessarily do coaching anymore. I have a couple of coaching clients that I'm finishing up, but basically when I was doing coaching, I had people asking me, can they get the special pricing? Now I have, like, the introduction price is the introduction price, but it ends at a certain time. Now my thing is, do you go in Target? Well, we don't go to Target. Do you go in Walmart? Do you go in CVS? Do you go in said grocery store and say, hey, this was on sale last week. Can you give it to me for that price again? No, you do not. You do not do that. So I don't understand why people think it's always that you need, if it's a Black-owned business, you need to negotiate. Because guess what? That's why Black-owned businesses don't stay in business, because they're not making enough money, because everybody want to act like it's time to barter. Now, have I bartered before? Absolutely. 100% bartered. Right? But guess what? I got value. They got value. And when you're an entrepreneur, and you are solely reliant on the income from your business, y'all, $100 an hour is not the same as $100 an hour on a job, because you don't have the employer covering your benefits, because you got to pay your own benefits. You don't have your employer taking out your taxes for you. $100 for somebody that's self-employed or a business owner, unless you're an S corp and you have you're a W-2 of your company, you don't really make $100. So imagine, after the self-employment taxes you got to pay, your overhead costs and all of this, you really, you lucky if you make $50 an hour. So you want me to discount my already pennies that I'm making? Because if you coach somebody for an hour at $100, it ain't the same as when you have a job. And this is why Black businesses cannot stay in business, because people don't understand, when you run a business, you don't have anybody subsidizing all your overhead costs and your taxes like a big corporation or organization or nonprofit behind you. And we have to understand this. We have to stop trying to get people to lower their prices. If you can't afford it, just say no, thank you. Like, stop that. Like, it's a pet peeve of mine. And now I'm going to return to the book. Thank you, Denise. I can't. It's so annoying to me. Like, but again, everybody doesn't understand business. So to wrap up here, he says on page 128, he says a community or family that is efficient with its money needs less money to survive than a community that is taught to waste it. So imagine if we kept more money in our communities, we could preserve them and keep them nice and we don't want to leave our communities if they looked a certain way, right? He says wasting money means that once the money disappears, like Natasha said, maybe in 6 seconds, you are forced to return to the corporate plantation and replace the money you've already spent. So it keeps you dependent, right? Exactly, Natasha. Girl, ooh, honey. I was like, I ain't even gonna go there, Natasha, because I'm just gonna get riled up again. It's true. $100 an hour is really not a lot of money for when you bring a certain level of expertise to a situation. No. My new rate is $250 an hour. No. I was like, it's okay. And I tell people it is okay if that is not feasible. It's no hard feelings. No hard feelings. Because my family, I have to take care of my family too. You know? So, but I don't really do that anymore. Too much. But sometimes, people want a speaking engagement. No problem. And I've even been told that was too low. So again, it really, we have to charge our value. So to wrap up here, because I know some of us are going to Dr. Boyce's book club in a minute. He says, if you don't learn to recycle the money in your own community, then others will always be able to turn off your economic faucet. So the moral of the story here is we want to create our own economic system so that we are not dependent on jobs. Nothing wrong with having a job, as Dr. Boyce said, but if we get laid off or whatever have you, we have our own other sources of income. I've always aspired to 7, right? At one time I had 5. Thank you, sis. But I never wanted to be dependent on a job because it was impacting my mental health. So I had to get on up out of there, and it was the best decision I ever made. So for next week, we will be discussing, we're on commandment number 7, which it looks like this is quite a long chapter. So we'll try to get through half of it. That's my goal, is to do 2 weeks on each chapter. So we'll start on page 129 and then it ends at 162. So half of that, right? We'll send out a text reminder. But thank you all so much for coming tonight. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. And if you want to be a reader and you want to come on and read or discuss with me, please just let me know. You know how to reach me. Everyone here has my number. Just let me know. And you'll come on stage with me next week and we will discuss. So we'll have to finish this book before October because I will be out of the country, so the times will be off. All righty, y'all. Well, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I hope to see some of you in the book club with Dr. Boyce. Good night.